Hello, listeners. This episode is all about methods of intake. We're not going to get into details about how to use various methods. It's just a collection of what my interview subjects said their preferred methods of intake are, and a few stories to go along with that. These interviews come from a range of people, some who have never smoked pot before, to those who use it daily. I feel that now is a good time for me to briefly mention what I want the audience of this project to be. I hope that regular users of cannabis will find the information in the next 16 episodes or so interesting. I realize that this is something they experience often and may even take thinking about these topics for granted. But I truly hope that they are entertained by the specific stories. In addition to the regular users, I also know that there are people out there who have never tried cannabis who are genuinely curious about it. Maybe they've been nervous to try it, so I hope that content like this podcast will get them to realize that there's nothing to be afraid of. I have really enjoyed listening to different people from all walks of life talk about their experiences with cannabis, and I know that there are other people out there who will feel the same way. So enough about all that. Now let's listen to the episode about methods of intake.
Different ways to use marijuana. I know that you can dry it out, roll it up, smoke it in a joint.
So there are many different devices you can use to smoke pot out of.
I'm aware of smoking joints, bowls, blunts, one-hitters.
Like a water pipe or something, or like vapor, something so it's a little bit smoother.
I am a big fan of the bong.
If I'm not going to smoke out of a bong, something glass is what I prefer.
Bong is my preference. I also do enjoy blunts and joints though, because I think they're fun.
And I like joints, but they're kind of a hassle and they're kind of messy and they use up a lot of pot, and so I rarely will do that.
Definitely my preferred way to smoke is doobie form.
I just have a little pipe, a one-hitter.
I have two preferred methods of intake, oral and smoking.
My preferred method of intake would actually be wax now that I've been exposed to it.
I am not a high-tech user of marijuana.
I just use what we have, and I haven't gone seeking some special kind of a pipe or bong or something like that. It's just whatever's around. I'm not particular.
Something with a bowl. I don't know really at all what that means.
I always think it looks like a penis, and there's like a little hole in the side of the balls.
I have like in my head a giant like either wood or ceramic bowl, and it just gets passed around, and in some way it's used for something, but I don't know how much, like if it's overflowing with pot or whether there's just like a tiny bit in there.
You could ground up the keef resin of just the THC and snort it like cocaine.
I don't think you can snort pot.
I did that once. I was very dumb. I just sneezed for like 20 minutes straight, and it didn't get me very high. Don't do that, by the way.
So a bong is a magical device to get you very stoned very, very, very quickly.
Bongs, I didn't have one, and I didn't like the smell of bong water.
I like the fire and the water and the weed. For some reason, it does something to me spiritually. I know it's corny, but, it's like, oh, okay, here is the earth and here is the fire and here is the smoke, and it goes through the water and it's coming through the air, and then, I feel like it's an elemental thing.
You can also make what people call green dragon, which is alcohol and weed infused together.
I mean, what other, I guess pot brownies, yeah.
Me and a friend in high school made a pan of brownies.
And I like brownies. I like brownies a lot.
And we each ate half the pan because we didn't want it to go to waste.
I ate a couple and there was no effect, and I thought, well, this is probably some ditchweed. It's probably not very good. And I had a couple more.
Like almost instantaneously, we're like both just ridiculously stoned.
And then after about 45 minutes, as I was bicycling home, bam! It hits me really hard.
I think eating it would just be healthier, but it's really expensive to do that yourself. To get that much weed and to cook it down, it's not very accessible. It's hard to just get like a small dosage. Either you're gonna get maybe nothing or be fucking blitzed. I don't want to be blitzed, I do want to be blitzed sometimes, but not like a daily thing.
I literally feel like when you blow the weed out, that is the dragon's breath, so to speak. And with it comes either your ability to perceive life in a more preferred way, or what comes out is the mess that did not allow you to experience your life the way you wished you had. You know what I mean? Because how many times you've had an experience and then maybe regretted it later, like, oh, I should have, and why didn't I, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's gone.
Well, I mean, you can stick weed anywhere. It isn't necessarily going to do a lot depending on where you put it. I've been taking a bong rip with my butt. We don't know what that feels like.
I don't think the vehicle that you smoke it in, I don't think it changes how you feel. I think it's the quality of the marijuana that changes how you feel.
I mean, you can get pot in you by smoking it in some form and by eating it in some form. That's that.
Thank you for listening to this short piece about methods of intake. Based on their responses, you may be able to figure out who are regular users and who are not. In the next episode, we start to discuss the various ways that marijuana affects people, both mentally and physically. So that's it for this week. I have some contact info in the episode description. Please rate and review on whatever platform you're listening on. And I hope you tune in next week for another episode of When I'm High.